So today I'm going to show you guys how to work on the reteaching worksheets, the answers for 18.1 to 18.4 for IM2. And I'm going to go straight through the video. So if you need to go back anytime to review the problem, you can feel free to do so. So with that said, I'm going to get started. 18.1, number 1 and 2 are both asking you to find the tangent. So first question is finding the tangent of angle R. We know that the ratio given by SOHCAHTOA for the tangent is going to be opposite over adjacent. So we have opposite over adjacent. So if we look across opposite of angle R, straight across, we have the side 5 over the adjacent, which means next to the angle, that would be 12. So now we know that the ratio for angle R is 5 over 12. Number 2, tangent of angle T. So likewise, just what we did to angle R, we can do the same thing to angle T, which means we have opposite over adjacent. And again, opposite of angle T is actually 12 over adjacent, which is 5. So we have the tangent of angle T is actually 12 over 5. And moving on to the bottom, we are actually reviewing how to find the angle measures when you're given the sides. So in this example, you're given that this side is 8 and 16. So to find angle X, we make use of the tangent ratio, which means 8 over 16. That would be the tangent of X. And applying the tangent inverse to both sides, we can see that we have tangent inverse of 8 over 16, which is 26.6. And so we're going to go ahead and do number 3. Number 3, we're given that AB is 3 and AC is 4. And we're asked to find angle C. So in terms of angle C, we actually have a tangent ratio because we have opposite over adjacent. So the tangent, we can set up a ratio. Tangent of angle C is equal to opposite, which is 3, over adjacent, which is 4. And again, to undo the tangent, we're going to apply tangent inverse to both sides, which causes the tangent to cancel out. So we have C by itself is equal to the tangent inverse of 3 divided by 4. And we can just work that out in the calculator. Take 3 divided by 4 and take second tangent. And that will give us the angle measure of approximately 36.9 degrees because we're asked to round to the nearest tenth, which means 1 decimal. So that's number 3. And we do number 4, the exact same thing. For number 4, we are given that we have AC is given 9 and AB is 5. So we have a different set of numbers. So we can do it the same way that we did for number 3, which means in terms of angle C, we have tangent of angle C, which is opposite, that would be 5, over adjacent, which is 9. Again, applying the tangent inverse to both sides, I will have C is equal to the tangent inverse of 5 divided by 9. And working it out in the calculator, we will have the answer to be approximately 29.1 degrees. And coincidentally or not, but it actually works out that if you add these two, actually, never mind, because these are different numbers. So we're moving on to the next worksheet. This is the end of worksheet 18.1. And here we have 18.2. 18.2 is about sine and cosine. So number 1 and 2 are actually specifically asking for the sine and cosine of angle A and B. So we're going to start with number 1, which means sine of A. So using the ratio again for SOHCAHTOA, we know that sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. And in this case, in terms of angle A, the opposite is 4 over the hypotenuse, which is given 5. And likewise, we can do the same thing for cosine of angle A. And the cosine is given by the ratio adjacent over hypotenuse. So in terms of angle A, the adjacent is actually 3 over the hypotenuse, which is 5. So we have the two ratios for angle A, for cosine and sine. And now we're going to move on to number B, and this time it is in terms of angle B. And so in terms of angle B, the sine is going to be the same ratio, which is opposite over hypotenuse. But in terms of angle B, opposite of angle B is now 3 over the hypotenuse, which is 5. So we have a different ratio because the angle is different. And then for the cosine of angle B, again, the ratio is the same thing, which is adjacent over hypotenuse. And that will be adjacent to angle B, that's 4 over hypotenuse, which is still 5. So there you go, the ratios for angles A and B for sine and cosine. We're going to move to the bottom, which is actually calculating the values from the given triangle. We know that one of the, actually all three sides are given, 8, 15, and the hypotenuse is 17. So to find the cosine of angle R, in terms of angle R, the cosine is actually, again, the ratio adjacent over hypotenuse. And so we have adjacent to angle R, which is 15 over hypotenuse, which is 17. So there's the ratio. And now we're asked to find the actual measure of angle R. So we need to involve actually a trigonometric ratio using the inverse. Since we already have R conveniently set up from the previous, we can just use the ratio to find number 4. Cosine of R is equal to 15 over 17. So to get R, we're going to actually find the inverse cosine of both sides. And the inverse and cosine cancel out, so we actually have R, angle R is equal to the inverse cosine of 15 over 17, which is approximately 28.1 degrees after inputting into the calculator. And so we know this angle is 28.1 degrees. And number 5, the sine of angle S is, again, the sine is actually given by opposite of hypotenuse. So opposite of angle S is actually 15. So that would be 15 over hypotenuse is 17. And the measure of angle S for number 6, we're going to use the same ratio that we just set up to find the measure since it's already set up. Notice we can actually use some other ratios, but this one is already set up, so we're going to use 15 over 17. So angle S, we're going to take the inverse of sine on both sides, so we cancel out that inverse. So we have sine inverse of 15 over 17, and if you work that out on the calculator, you will get approximately 61.9 degrees. So angle S is 61.9. And now if we take a look at those two angles, 28.1 plus 61.9, you actually get 90 degrees because these two are the acute angles in the right triangle, so they should add up to 90 degrees. And that is worksheet 18.2. And I'm going to make a new video for 18.3 and 4 because I have a 10-minute limit and I'm already almost at the end. So that's 18.1 and 2.